Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 18th of October. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. Now, as ever, I'm going to give you the key strands for the week in a brief overview and then dive deep into each zodiac sign. So this week, the key features are that, yes, Jupiter and Mercury go direct on Monday. Jupiter is the planet of growth, of traditional astrology, of good fortune, and it's also the planet of expansion. So over the last 4 months, as it rewound from the sign of Pisces and back into the sign of Aquarius, we have found perhaps that some of our social aspirations have kind of been a case of 2 steps forwards and 1 step back. We can see in some parts of the world, for example, that COVID lockdown has been imposed in a much more stringent way, other areas a bit freer. But Mercury going direct in the sign of relating, Libra, is definitely something to appreciate. Also, the ruler of Libra, Venus, is in a fine link with Mercury and also Saturn this week. So those constructive relationships can really take a step forwards in a way which we're going to be pleased about. Also, Mars, the planet of passion, in the sign of Libra still, is forging an awesome angle to Jupiter for much of this week. So around a group situation or where we feel a sense of unity around a shared idea, again, a lot of thrust and speeding up. A contractual situation could also be resolved this week. But the Sun does square up to Pluto through the week. And Wednesday's full moon in the sign of Aries is kind of deep and passionate because of that square from Pluto to the moon and also the Sun. It's sort of pivoted in a T-square. And if there are deeper relationship problems around perhaps some leverage or coercion, or someone seems to always have to be in charge and not embracing the more equilibrium credentials of Libra, that could see some politics burst into the open, which may need to be resolved. And then on Saturday, the Sun returns for the first time in 11 months to the deep dive sign of Scorpio. Now, the whole progress of the planets through the sign of Libra has been very much the conversation. The movement of the Sun into the sign of Scorpio is to understand what that conversation was really about. So anything about shared resources, intimacy, sexuality, in terms of a more practical context, anything to do with investments, entrepreneurship, legacies, pensions, savings, all of these things can come under the astral microscope over the next 4 weeks. Now, please stay with me for your deep dive on each of the zodiac signs. But if you are new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you'd subscribe. Also, if you'd like to get your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning, I've been writing them for over 25 years. My work features around the world on some of the biggest platforms out there, so you can subscribe for free below. Or with year 2022 racing up quickly, grab your 2022 personal forecast. And if you order now, you'll get the rest of this year 3, plus a character analysis and 30% off. Please see the link beneath this video and gain searing insights for your prospects ahead. Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to your in-depth forecast for week commencing the 18th of October. That Jupiter, your ruler, goes forwards on Monday is a real help. It's been tracking backwards for 4 months, initially in your sector of emotion and then in your sector of everyday exchanges, relationships with neighbours, with siblings, anything to do with technology. All these areas may have just felt very sluggish in recent times. But Jupiter also forges a real trailblazing sextile to Mars, the planet of passion, and that goes through much of this week, and that's in your sector of friendship where Mercury starts to go forwards. So if there has been some kind of issue to do with your longer term future which has seemed resolutely stuck, I think something can start moving now in quite an exciting way. Also in your sign, Venus is collaborating brilliantly with Mercury. a conversation you have can turn out to be much more positive than you might have thought. And also Venus is collaborating with Saturn, so a little bit of goodwill in terms of how you approach something, and generosity of spirit can come back to you in spades. Now, of course, we do have this potent full moon, and it's in your fire sign, sister fire sign of Aries, but it's pivoting in a right angle with Pluto in your second house. Because the sun is in your 11th house of friendship, future plans, higher ideals, and Pluto's in the part of your situation to do with the everyday realities of your core values or just money coming in. I think when it comes to risk, if you're thinking of something in terms of a more entrepreneurial sphere, I wouldn't bet your resources on anything that you haven't really got a very clear understanding of what the chances are. So you need to be very calculated in terms of how you approach more speculative ventures. And also around friendship or even around loved ones, maybe someone is in some way going to try to leverage some kind of financial situation with you. Try to resist that as well. As this week draws to a close, the sun does move into a more reflective, meditative part of your situation. And despite the more social part of your situation having sparkled recently, I think as the week draws to a close, you're thinking more about quality rather than quantity, and having those allied values are going to be the thing that really gives you a sense of comfort, whether it's in a romantic situation or a personal friendship.